guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're setting up my bullet journal for the month of December. Before we get into that, here's a quick flip through of November. For November, my theme was space, and I really like how some of these spreads turn out, and I ended up with a few great collection pages as well. But towards the end of the month, I found myself really falling behind on some of my trackers and pages, and as you can see, I kind of stopped updating them altogether during these last couple weeks. This inspired a few drastic changes to my weekly layout that I'll show you guys in a bit. But first, as always, I start with my monthly overview. For my header, I'm using this very festive red. My theme for this month is Christmas, and I know not everyone celebrates Christmas during this holiday season, but I hope you all can take something away for your planners and journals, regardless of the theme. Also, shout out to my boyfriend Sam for recording all the Christmas instrumentals in this video. He is super talented and goes by Guitar Man Sam on Instagram if you guys want to look him up. If you've seen any of my past videos, you know that my normal layout for this spread includes boxes that are 3x8 squares and outlined with dots. For this month though, my calendar spread is a little different. When it's all put together, it'll be sort of a fireplace mantle scene, as you maybe saw at the beginning of this video. So I drew these boxes to resemble bricks, which is why they're kind of layered differently and are outlined with a solid line rather than my normal dots. Hanging from my fireplace mantle is this stocking, which is essentially just a sock or boot looking shape with little gifts sticking out of it. When I googled a picture to base this stocking off of, this tutorial on drawinghowtodraw.com came up, and it's the one I used, so I'll go ahead and link that down in the description along with all the supplies I used in this video. Recently, I treated myself to a new pack of Crayola Super Tips, and I bought the 50 pack, which came with all of these amazing colors. So for my bricks, I'll be using 3 of my new brown shades, a dark brown, a reddish brown, and a lighter brown. For the 31 boxes I'll be using for the 31 days of December, I'm just outlining them and then coloring in a small portion of the box for the date. When the month is over, I'll be able to go back and add colors to each of these boxes to match the other bricks on this page. I just wanted to make sure I had enough room to write in my different events throughout the month, which is why I initially left them blank. For my dates, I originally used my new Signo white gel pen, and although I usually love how this pen looks because it's super pigmented, I just thought it looked a little faded here, so I later rewrote them in with black ink. And now I'm just coloring in my stocking and the gifts. I usually use the second page for my monthly notes, goals, and events and tasks, but in the last few months I've never really found myself using the whole page for these sections. So this month I've condensed it down to be only this stocking, which again I'll be able to go back into later and color in the rest after it's all filled out. Here I'm just using my black Papermate Flair pen to give this doodle a little bit more definition. I just love how this turned out, and I think the snowman is so cute. And there you have it, my monthly overview. And now onto my expenses page. Nothing has really changed with this spread since I first introduced this page to my bullet journal back in September, but fitting into my theme, the lettering is meant to resemble strings of Christmas lights. And it's not a perfect recreation considering some of these sharper letters, but it took me many tries to finish something that I liked, so I'm pretty proud of it. For decoration on this page, I'll be adding a few stickers from these sheets that my friend Rachel got from Target in the dollar section. She was nice enough to give me a few for my planner, and I just think they are amazing. So thank you, Rachel. As you may know, I love my Papermate Flair pens. I recently bought this 24 pack that came with all of these, minus my darker yellow that I have from a previous pack. Here I'm just using them for a few strings of Christmas lights throughout my page, green for the cord, and then yellow, red, and blue for the bulbs. And it's done! On to my mind dump and planning page. Yet another staple of my monthly spreads. For this month though, I'm starting out with a drawing of the ever so necessary Christmas tree. How lovely are thy branches? These branches are just random lines I kind of was just hoping would resemble a Christmas tree, and I think I did a pretty good job. For my ornaments, I'm using some stickers from this masking sticker set I bought off Amazon maybe a year ago. These are super cool because the sheets are already pre-cut into strips and circles. For the ornaments, I'm using stickers from 2 of the red sheets that came in this pack. And what would be a Christmas tree without some obnoxiously colorful presents sitting underneath it? These are just rectangles, so they're super easy to draw, but just be sure to leave enough space for the ribbon. I forgot on a few of these and just had to use my Sharpie pen to draw them in later. Again, this is my mind up and planning spread, so I like to write it first in my marker and then again with my Flair pen in black. And on the right side of the spread, I tore out 2 pages from this cute Santa notebook I recently bought at Target to glue together to make one larger sheet that I can use for my Christmas shopping list. And as always, here's a look at my 3 monthly spreads before we get into my new weekly layout. First though, I'm making a spread for my updated weekly schedule now that fall is over and it's the winter. Here I'll put my consistent weekly events like my volunteering shifts, band practice, or my work schedule. These rectangles are all 23 squares tall, and then 6 squares wide for Monday through Friday, and then just 4 squares wide for Saturday and Sunday. I usually just work on the weekends, so they didn't need to be too wide. As of right now, this page is still blank, as of all my events are still kind of up in the air, but I hope to fill it out soon. And finally, moving on to my weekly spread. I'll be outlining the page with one of my many Christmas tapes. I have some by Recollections, and then this one is from my ArtMinds set. As you can already see, my layout is just 1 page rather than my normal 2-page layout, so I've had to move some things around to accommodate this condensed page. I'm keeping my mini calendar up here, and then these boxes are for my weather tracker. I couldn't bear to part with it, so now they're just 2x2 squares with only a half square space in between them in order to fit into my limited space. Down here I'll be adding my weekly schedule module as well as my habit tracker. In my past layout, these were on 2 separate pages, but in order to keep both of them, I've just combined them onto one block. Since I couldn't really condense the numbers of hours in the day, I had to get rid of a few of my habits. But that's okay though, because I think it's good to just take some time and focus on only a few things that you want to be better about. That way you don't spread yourself too thin. But the bulk of this page is for my weekly events and tasks. I've found that my schedule recently hasn't really justified having so much space for my daily task logs, so I think this system will be more useful to me. My weekly events are separated by day on the left, and then on the right I have my tasks for this week, and then also a section for my tasks and events for next week. And with that strip of tape, my page is done. For our final flip through, I went ahead and filled out my spreads with whatever content I had so far, although since I did film this one early, there wasn't too much to fill out. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys got some inspiration for your bullet journals, and until next month, happy holidays.